everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's Mike's Talks and Thoughts here. We are back again today with more of the Last of Us content here. And today we are going to be ranking all 9 episodes from the first season of The Last of Us. Now, I am someone who hasn't played the game, but has a little bit of experience on the story and what happens. So definitely keep that into consideration here. So it's coming from a perspective of someone who is mainly only focusing on the TV aspect, as how well they did it in the TV show as compared to how well they did in the TV show compared to the game, because I don't have much experience with the game here. But all I can say is The Last of Us just blew me away. And yeah, we're going to be going through ranking all 9 episodes here from the first season. And if you're a fan of The Last of Us here, I have done breakdowns on each episode from season 1. That's going to be linked in this playlist down below. My TV reviews and thoughts playlist, going more in depth on these episodes. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below before I get started here what your ranking of the 9 episodes are for season 1 of The Last of Us. Starting out here in last place, we have episode number 7, Left Behind here. Now this I know is a DLC for the Last of Us game here. And this episode was good. I mean, with this episode being your weakest of the season, you have a pretty strong season. This was still a great episode of diving into Ellie's backstory in Boston, and you find out about her relationship with this girl Riley and their friendship, and even expand on something more later on in the episode. It was really well done, man. It was really cool seeing the origins of Ellie before she met Joel here, and seeing just the heartbreak and loss and tragedy that she's had to deal with in the story. You know, we get sort of glimpses of her mentioning that she's, had to off someone before, and at the end of the episode, seeing what happens with her and Riley and the origin of how Ellie got bit. Really interesting to see it. I definitely feel like they definitely did a relationship a lot better on an episode we'll talk about a little bit later on here in the list, but this was a solid episode just for me. A little bit slower of an episode, wasn't really action-packed. Definitely had a lot of good to show for Ellie's story here, but of the 9 episodes from this season, this is some stiff competition, and this is going to land here at number 9. Coming here at number 8, we have episode number 4, Please Hold My Hand. This is, of course, the culmination of after them going to Bill's place, and we finally get the introduction to Kansas City, which is a big turning point here in the season. We get to see a little bit about this group of Fedra and background on this assailant of Henry here. And it's really cool seeing Joel and Ellie, their truck breaks down. They have to take out all these guys here. Nice little action sequence. And it is a really good introduction into this next chapter that we're going to be going through. But again, just a little bit slower. Definitely doesn't have the highest of highs that these episodes, but this is one I will say, even though it is a little bit lower here, it is definitely a consistent episode here. And again, just starting out this new journey in Kansas City was really, really interesting to see moving forward here in the season for The Last of Us. Coming here at number 7, we have Kin. This is episode number 6 here. So this is, of course, the episode where we finally get to see Joel and Tommy reuniting, and this is something that we have been wanting to see since the first episode of the show. Gabriel Luna does a great job as Tommy here, and seeing Tommy's community out in Wyoming. You get to see Tommy and now his new wife here, and they're expecting a child, and Ellie finally getting to be in like sort of a real life community here. And I love the scene in that episode where Joel and Ellie are being surrounded by these guys, and they have this dog that can sniff out whether you're infected. And the dog, of course, does not detect Ellie because she has no symptoms of infected, even though she's been bit. And it was a very interesting episode. But for me, I did love the conversations that Joel and Tommy had. I just, for some reason in my head, built it up to be something that was going to be a lot bigger than it was and hit harder than it did. But it was still really good. A little bit here on the back end of the list, but this was a solid episode from the show. again, the standout points of the development between Joel, Tommy, and of course Ellie here. And this is also, they leave us off on sort of a cliffhanger with Joel getting stabbed at the end. So that was definitely one of us like, wow, what's going to happen here and how are they going to move forward? So definitely a solid little episode. Nothing too crazy though. But again, all of these Last of Us episodes were peak, and this is where the episode Kin falls. Coming in here at number 6, we have episode number 2, Infected here. This was a perfect, I would say almost nearly perfect follow-up to the pilot episode. The pilot episode was so groundbreaking, so much to build upon, and episode 2 definitely lives up to that hype of trying to build on exploring this world of The Last of Us, I will say. We follow Joel, Ellie, and Tess as they are trying to get, of course, Ellie to the Fireflies, being the ultimate mission for the season here. And this is where we get introduced to the Infected here. We kind of get more of a background in the earlier stages of this episode on how the infection kind of started and spread, with, of course, it started in Indonesia, like flour and wheat going bad. And we get to see the different stages of Infected here, how the cordyceps virus infects the different people in the different stages. Here we get to meet the Clickers, who are infected, and they're in sort of that middle stage to where they can't see anything and they just make noises, and that's how they kind of sense where you are. And even later on we get bloaters, which we will talk about here, which them things are crazy. Some of the best visual effects, man, I've seen with The Last of Us here. But yeah, episode 2 here, just following that journey of diving deeper into this world, and of course the ultimate shocking moment that didn't expect like a main character to get killed off so soon, but Tess, of course, gets bit here, and she kind of sacrifices herself so that Joel and Ellie can move forward here. It's really, really interesting to see, really heartbreaking. And yeah, a solid episode here, like right in the middle of the pack for me here. Coming in here at number 5, we have the season 1 finale, Look for the Light, episode number 9. Now this episode here, of course, follows the ultimate journey of getting Ellie to the Fireflies, Joel being a badass. That's like the 2 big points you can take from this. Joel and Ellie, of course, have a great bonding moment. Love the scene with the giraffe. I actually didn't know that was from the game segment. That was just a great like one-on-one moment. And then Joel find out that they have to kill Ellie in order to create this vaccine, and just taking out all these guards. It was just great. I will say that the pilot, or I should say the finale, felt a little bit too quick. It was only a 40-minute episode. I felt like that one definitely warranted like an hour-long episode. I mean, it was the finale of the first season here, but I think they did a good job, I guess, wrapping up what the ultimate mission was for this season. Of course, Joel protecting Ellie, and Roy finally fully becoming that father figure, and showing just how much of a protector he is and how much he cares for Ellie, and now leaving us on where's the journey going to go from here. I mean, the whole Firefly situation has kind of been dismissed here, I guess, because of Joel's actions. But how are they going to retaliate? Where are they going to go from here? It leaves a lot of questions open, but also you got the answers that you needed for what the ultimate goal was of the first season, and that was getting Ellie to the Fireflies, and we see the outcome of that. So it was really nice. Coming here at number 4, we have When We Are in Need, episode number 8. So this is, of course, the penultimate episode of The Last of Us season. And this was a great episode, man. This new group, they say this takes place during the winter chapters here. David and this new group really giving a lot of Terminus vibes for any of you Walking Dead fans out there. This group just, they seem nice and friendly, but they also seem creepy as well. Just something off about this guy. And this is, of course, when Joel was still out of it after being stabbed in episode 6, and Ellie sort of has to take over as the lead, and she does a great job here of trying to hold her own against these 2 guys that are, trying to, be friendly, but you also know in the back of your mind trying to deceive her. And You just see, the guy, the leader, he seems like someone who is trustworthy, and then you see the dark side of him, and it's like, wow, this guy is messed up, man. Of course, them capturing Ellie, and Ellie having to just fight off all these attackers, and with this group, and Joel finally coming back after getting the medicine and taking out a few guys that come looking for him. It was just a great action-packed episode. Again, one of the better ones from this first season. I love the action in it. Love this new group, even though they were only in it for one episode, man. Definitely intriguing. A great hour of television. And coming in here at number 3, we have episode number 3. A long, long time, man. Give Nick Offerman all the rewards that you can, man. Bill and Frank here. So you know how I was talking about with Left Behind, how they kind of did this little friend to love story situation with Riley and Ellie. They did it 10 times better with Bill and Frank. This is like just amazing. Just the emotion that you felt and going through this journey of 20 years with these characters. You find Bill, he's this survivalist, living along on his own in the apocalypse and trying to defend himself, and has all these barriers, and he comes across this man, Frank, and being so guarded off, and then Frank is able to come in and gain his trust and doesn't abuse anything. He sticks by his side, and just them, growing together as a couple, and just, it was beautiful to watch, man. It was beautiful storytelling, beautiful hour and 20 minutes episode. I'm usually not the biggest fan of episodes that go on for too long, and this one didn't even feel like it did. It just, every minute of that episode was so great. It was one of my favorite episodes for sure. So heartbreaking at the end with the demise of course, Bill and Frank, and just the way that they go out together. It's just so heartbreaking. It was so touching. It really hit a chord with me. And that's what you need TV to do, man. You need it to connect, and this episode just connected so well. To have such a closed off 2-person group have such an impact on this story. For Joel and Ellie, it just seems like a way to get a vehicle to move forward in their journey, but it was like much more than that, man. Finding out about how Joel and Tess did deals with Bill and Frank in the past, and it was just amazing to see. Again, just such an interesting story, something that was heartbreaking, heartfelt, and definitely deserves to be praised as one of the best Last of Us episodes, especially from this first season here. Coming in here at number 2, we have episode number 5, Endure and Survive. This episode, like the previous one that I just mentioned, broke me, man. This one was so heartbreaking to watch, with the whole Henry and Sam situation here. Joel and Ellie, of course, at the end of episode 4, see Henry and Sam and then befriend them and go on this journey of trying to get out of the city with them. And of course, Fedra's chasing after them. Of course, the leader looking to get revenge on Henry here for killing her brother. And it was great, man. Just great action scene, of course, Joel and the sniping scene. And then also you find out where they've been hiding these infected, and you get to see the bloaters for the first time, and they're freaking humongous, man. They rip through anything. Just great action scenes. And then the ending was so heartbreaking, where Sam, you find out that he got bit in the aftermath of all that chaos, and Ellie's trying to save him. And of course, Sam, and I should mention as well, was deaf, as you guys know, and that hit so hard as well. Just him not being able to fully, understand what was going on, but understanding enough, and Ellie trying to save him, and him turning, and then you realize with Henry that was all he had left in his life, all he could care about, and then he ends up taking his own life as well. And it was just so crazy, so sad, just so bleak way to end it. But man, just it hit so hard, man. That episode felt like it was earned, man, and it was so great, so great in a way to pull at your heartstrings, man. But coming in here at number 1 is going to be the pilot episode number 1 here. And this has to be in my top 5 TV pilots of all time, and easily one of my favorite episodes of television of all time. The praise and all of the expectations for The Last of Us coming in was so great, and they needed to nail the pilot to bring everyone in. And that's exactly what they did here. You get to see background on Joel and his daughter Sarah here, and you get to see everything from when the apocalypse first starts with the cordyceps virus and just the chaos of everything that goes on, the cinematography, the tension, the suspense. It just was so gripping here, and seeing just how Joel couldn't save his daughter here, and it was so heartbreaking, man. Like, you just felt so sunk, man, and like just getting into this world and find out everything that happened. They couldn't have done it any better. They took it basically from the game, from what I've heard, a lot of the shots, and man, you couldn't go wrong with how they did it. The back half of the first episode, definitely not as strong as the first half. The first half of that episode, it's like peak television right there. Some of the most intriguing stuff I ever saw. Right when I saw like the first 30 minutes, I was like texting my friends, you gotta watch this show. You gotta get on it. You gotta get on it right now, because they're doing something special here with this first episode, and it's going to go down as one of the best pilots in TV history, and The Last of Us Season 1 is going to go down as one of the best seasons in TV history. It was so great. But yeah, that's going to do it here for my ranking of all the Last of Us Season 1 episodes. Let me know again down below in the comments your favorite episode from this season, or your ranking of the episodes, as well as staying tuned for a characters tier list and also a Season 1 review for The Last of Us. So yeah, take care everyone, and peace out.